Hi Aries. So I'm here to do your weekly read. I'm going to go ahead and use the unicorn deck. I'm going to just give them a little bit of a flip here. And then we'll move forward. I think I'm going to try to use the animal deck as well as maybe like the cosmos deck or something like that. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, let's see what comes out for y'all. Okay, closeness in reverse, which is number 5. Your unicorn is on it is very, very close to you. It's in reverse though, so we gonna see. And then King of Unicorns came out, that's 42. You are blessed with majesty, vision, and power. And last but not least, one last one. Okay. Surprise, number 31. So I'm seeing here that you might be feeling, this is the closest card in the upright. It was in the reverse. So I'm just saying here, you might not feel as close with some kind of a masculine energy or the King of Unicorns. You guys know that these are not actually gender-based, so there can be feminine energies associated with masculine and vice versa. But there is some kind of a surprise here, some kind of a I'm hearing a transmutation of energies. So although, sorry, this was actually first. This was second, and this was third. Let me get my stuff together. All right. So more or less what I'm seeing here is that you might be feeling a little bit out of touch with yourself. Just a little bit, not a lot. You know, the King of Unicorns can actually denote, it is the actual card that on the back of these cards, that's the same card. So I'm just, as a overall title or an overall representation, your central energy here is the same energy as the entire deck. And because of that, I am saying that you might be feeling a little bit less in touch with your overall purpose, goal, title, or the way that you center yourself, whatever grounding mechanism that you're using to kind of get in touch with your inner self might be feeling a little bit disconnected at this point. The surprise card says look for the unexpected today. So although that could mean a whole bunch of different things, right here on the first card, closeness, there's a little girl who's actually petting the unicorn. And when she's petting the unicorn in the upright, obviously he's pointing, or his horn is pointing towards the next card or the next set of information that is to come. So because you're feeling a little bit ungrounded today, you might be feeling like you're kind of running in place or going in a circle, feeling like you're off kilter a little bit, or that your energies are not manifesting the way that you'd like for them to exactly. Number 5 obviously is Pentacle, and the traditional tarot deck, there's typically a big old pentacle with a 5-star on there, and it's a offer. It's a monetary, emotional, physical, tangible kind of offer of some type. And because this is coming up in the reverse, along with the King of Unicorns and the surprise, you might not be feeling like you're able to catch either yourself off guard or other people. And I know that that sounds awkward coming out of my mouth like that, but we each want to have our own little surprise factor or our own wow factor, if you will. And when you're not able to achieve the same kind of level of umbrella, application of that wow factor, it can really throw you off and make you question yourself. It can throw you for a loop. So that's kind of the energy that I'm getting off of that first closeness card in reverse. The King of Unicorns is number 42. So we went from a 5 to a 6. 4 plus 2 is 6. You are blessed with majesty, vision, and power. This is still in the upright, so I want you to remember that. Remember that nothing that you're manifesting, nothing that you're doing is the direct result or going to impact directly your future ability to continue with that overarching goal that you might have in mind. Things right now just might seem a little bit hectic, very out of whack, if you will. Sometimes when the seasons change, sometimes when we change, sometimes if there's an outside influence that kind of comes and knocks you off your square a little bit there, you can feel a little bit ungrounded or a little unsettled, a little bit less in control of the overall picture. And although that might be, a temporary feeling, just remember that it's not going to be permanent. The next card out here is surprise, and that's number 31. So 3 plus 1 is 4. 4 is in the traditional tarot deck home, the home card. It's all 4 wands in the upright. And because this is still looking for the unexpected, you could be kind of feeling like you're looking for a specific outcome from what you're used to having be pretty consistent over time, space, and energy. And because that closeness is not being recognized at this time, it could be making you feel like doubting the process or doubting the system that you've come up for supporting those stepping stones that you are used to stepping on. So let's go ahead and get some additional cards. Excuse me for 1 second. I'm just going to grab we're going to use the universe deck for the next portion of your read. I really like these cards because they kind of give you a big picture perspective, and I feel like that's what you're looking to regain here. Let me just give it one more go round. So I have been so tired. So I'm just going off of fumes today. So don't mind me. I hope you guys are feeling a lot more energized than I am at the moment. And it snowed a little bit. It's like snowing for just probably like an inch of snow outside right now. So in any case, let's go ahead and get y'all some cards for closeness, surprise, and the King of Unicorns. These two were backwards. Closeness, King of Unicorns, and surprise. Okay, so process came out in the reverse for your closeness card, and it's planet formation. Wow, okay. Yeah, this is actually just reiterating everything that I just said, more or less, to be honest. But I will show you these cards in just a second here. Okay, yeah, so basically the closeness card came out in reverse, like I said. And the card that came out with it was the process or planet formation card in the reverse. So like I was telling you before, specifically because that middle card here is the card that is represented on the back of the entire unicorn deck, what I'm feeling is that your sense of magic or your sense of manifestation may not be as poignant lately or today or potentially in this upcoming week or this last week, how it applies to you, as it was before. And it doesn't mean that things are ending. It just means that things have a specific step-by-step in your mind that you were trying to go ahead and achieve, and that formation may not be taking place in exactly the way that you thought it would at the moment. If you're thinking about this in terms of magic, as you can see, this is more of a monotone card. It's more just, it's kind of got some undertones of green and orange, as well as, these three distinct entities that are kind of floating out there. But it's also got dark spaces here and there throughout the card. And it's just, what I'm seeing is that you might be feeling, that pin the tail on the donkey, or whatever game that is that you pin the tail, like the nose on the Pinocchio, or pin the whatever on the whatever. Okay. I'm seeing that, how there's games that are set up to engage people, or kind of put into place to try to pull people into whatever process it is that you're trying to manifest at the moment. There seems to be some type of a lack of excitement around that, or a lack of ability to actually grow these brighter moments at the rate that you would like to. So it doesn't mean that you're unable to do so. It just means that at the moment you're just having an issue with figuring out which way to go ahead and bring perhaps these things closer to you. I mean, the closer that you get to a target, then the more accurate you are when you actually end up throwing the arrow there. So I think it really comes down to the fact that, you know, especially if it has to do with children, or if it has to do with, I don't really even see this as a child in this card for some reason today. Usually I do, but just I'm more seeing this as like a direction that the unicorn is trying to give the child direction, trying to offer a pathway, to clear away the shrubbery of the mind in order for these important events to kind of be downloaded and drip down into the reality of your world at this time. So that might be something that you're feeling challenged by. In no way does that mean that it won't happen. Like I said before, it's just more of a understanding that there are multiple ways to do one thing, and you might need to take a look at some of the other ways to achieve the same goal, if you will. King of Unicorns came out with the star cluster, and that's friends. So like I was saying before, although you might have an entire deck full of friends, or an entire deck full of mechanisms in which you usually use to manifest these kind of these processes, and a way to bring these processes together, you might be feeling like you need to either lean back a little bit and let your friends help you, or you could also be feeling like your friends are the ones that are throwing you off your balance at the moment. So I don't know which way this will, actually apply to you, but the star clusters, or the clusters of bright sons and daughters, and all of their other people's lives can sometimes feel like they're outshining yours. Other people's lives can sometimes feel like they could be a source of shine for you. So depending on the way that you're looking at this, there are 3 different unicorns flying in to help you. So I think that if you're able to use those 3 kind of outlets of information, maybe this is, friends, family, and lovers, maybe if you're able to use all 3 of those sources as something to try to help really put back into the palm of your hand this process that you've been wanting to go ahead and manifest. I'm seeing stardust. I'm seeing the way that this could be going from something small to something big, or something big to something small. Although we can see certain star clusters closer to us than others most of the time, it doesn't mean that the ones that are further away, and if I tilt this card back a little bit, you can see more of all the different star clusters that are back there in the periphery. Those might be something that need a little bit of encouragement at this time as well. And it might be helpful to you in trying to find your center again, or centering yourself, grounding yourself a little bit with whatever kind of arrangements you're trying to make at the moment. So that's kind of what I'm seeing here. The good news is both of those came in the upright. So I would say endorse all of these things that are coming to help you. So, excuse me. So then there's a surprise, 31. And this unicorn is running through a pond. And the pond has a fish jumping out of it. It has a peacock standing on the edge of it with all of its, feathers opened. And then it's also got a moose of some type in the background there with its antlers, just kind of looking at whatever the unicorn is doing. And I think, when you think about puppies kind of playing in the snow or in the water, or just having a good time and cutting loose, they oftentimes go prancing through, really excited, whatever surrounding they've got. So galaxy formation is here, and it does say organization. If we're looking at the I'm seeing the unicorn as being prancing through the galaxy right now. It's prancing through, playing, trying to bring the joy, the happiness, the playfulness back into your existence. And, rather than looking at each of the star clusters, each of the individual star clusters, this is a whole galactic view. So each galaxy, each little, each spiral there is a different galaxy. And maybe what the unicorn is trying to help you remember is to take the big picture approach. So rather than looking at specific, I'm just noticing here that we've gone from planet formation to star cluster to galaxy. So I'm saying there's a zoom out that's happening right now. So rather than focusing so much on the small things, don't let the small things get under your skin. Don't let that stop your process or deter you from being close with the star clusters and with the galaxy, because planets exist within all of these, individually within all of these. So I think that's the surprise that you should maybe try to remember to dwell on lately, is to look for the other species of life out there that could also offer you some really valuable insight. So, I'm also seeing the airborne peacock, the fish that's obviously in the water, and then the moose that's, on land. So if the unicorn is able to automatically go prancing through all three of those aspects at the same time, it may be something that is able to help you as well in trying to find your footing, or trying to make, progress and make a new plan for yourself as we move forward. So I am going to go ahead and use the animal deck to see what the animal kingdom has to say. I know that this last surprise card did have obviously some really strong imagery about that in the first place, but let's see what else we can ascertain from that. Yeah, and I am also just because this King of Unicorns has all three. I mean, there's a unicorn here, there's a unicorn here, and there's a unicorn here. So I'm saying that maybe if we look at these cards in conjunction with those spatial references, then as the king of the unicorns, and that would fit you, Aries, you're very much the king of the zodiac, the galaxy formation can actually be aided or, helped, assisted by using not only the star clusters and the planet formations. I'm sorry, this is actually in the wrong order. So the star clusters can actually find their way from one star cluster to another by looking at deep space, at the galaxies that we know their trajectory or their orientation in other places in the galaxy. So you can potentially stand on that understanding and kind of navigate your way that way. Or if you know where you started. So if you know where you came from, obviously it helps you figure out where you're going. So if you're unsure about this beginning process and whether it was the correct way to go, or if you're questioning it at all, kind of what to do here, just remember to look at your GPS and understand that usually even if you're halfway through the trip, you can still look at where your home planet was, or where your home planet is, and find your way back. So that's just another download that came through there. Yeah, using friends' organizations, or maybe other friends' home planets. If you don't know where you are, if you're out driving around at night and you have no clue where you are, and you've actually accidentally erased your starting point in your GPS, but you do know that, hey, one of my friends lives really close to this point. Maybe you could try to use their address, or use some type of organization within their neighborhood to recollaborate yourself and get back on path. Give me 1 second. Nothing wants to come out. Oh, there we go. Okay, so owl came out after crow. And then we need one more. Okay, I'll take it. I just kind of threw it. It just kind of came out. So I've got the crow as being the process or the closeness that you're not feeling right now. Oh, yeah, I'm going to say that's definitely cracked, given that it fell out of my hand twice. Also, in this crow card here, the crow is looking for like backwards a little bit, and he's looking at above him are two crows right here and here in the distance. And so there's a big old moon right behind him. There may be a secret or some type of a secret piece of knowledge that you could kind of take from listening to the crows on which direction not to go, on which direction is back at home. You know, when you think about the Trinity, there's 1, 2, 3 in a Trinity. And so when you're thinking about moving forward, or when you're thinking about taking the next steps in manifesting this planetary formation, you may want to take a look at, like I said, the moons or the Earths or the planets or the Saturn, Jupiter, Marses that are before or after your location, and take note of that. You know, take note as that being one side of the coin here. And then the owl came out with the King of Unicorns. So when you're thinking about sexual energy, darkness, and liberation, you can say the owl is a nocturnal bird strongly associated with the moon and feminine energy. So moon and feminine energy. Lilith, the goddess of Talmud in early Christian Gnosticism, is frequently represented as an owl. She was Adam's first wife before Eve, and is known to have refused to assume a subordinate role in marriage. Although she has traditionally been associated with dark sexual energy, she is a powerful and liberating female symbol. So here is the moon, and in this one, rather than the moon being directly behind her head looking off in the past, this owl is looking towards the future. And although the moon is really far away, that could be a good thing. This could be a marker for where you're at right now. Rather than being really close to the moon, and this could be the same moon, you know, this could be the same exact one. Just one of those birds is flying this way and the other is flying that way. So you could have a pretty solid understanding. This woman here has a moon suit on. I don't know if you've heard of selkies, but they are, you know, the equivalent of this wearing an animal's skin, but they are associated with seals in the ocean. So that might be helpful to you if you're more of an ocean-based human, depending on your astrological chart there. And when you're far away from one moon, but you can still see its light, it kind of gives you a specific idea of which direction you're going, or at least you'll be able to orient which direction you're headed from this point forward. So like I said, not all is lost. Just sounds like you're having a shift between either going towards more of a crow's call versus an owl or a gentle hoot. So that might be helpful to you guys in some way, especially when looking at star clusters or friends. You know, sometimes even though you may not be romantically involved with the crow or any of her cohorts, you know, sometimes if you're moving away from something like, if you don't like chicken heads, let's just use them as an example. If you're moving towards more of a gentle understanding or a gentle life with somebody who is more of a wise outlook on things, that might be a shift between two separate types of hen houses. Why did the hen cross the road? To get to the egg on the other side. So then we've got here the butterfly. So it's weird to me that I just said egg. There's, owls and birds eat insects. So this could be a source of nourishment for you. Um, Also, when I'm thinking about an egg or thinking about a small chrysalis kind of formation there, they are very similar. The difference being that, obviously moths and butterflies can come out of a chrysalis and then have an entire life after that point. It is interesting to me that this woman is actually inside of the owl at the moment. So there may be a duality in your personality or in whatever situation you're working with at the moment, where not only are you able to embody more animalistic views of things, such as I'm hungry, so I'm going to go across the street and get some food, but you also might be able to embody more of a humanistic understanding of that chrysalis right there, where you're saying, hey, there's a transformation that happens in the middle of the street. When I look both ways and there's cars coming both ways, I start to run rather than just leisurely taking my time. Sometimes when you're in the middle of a transformation, things are not comfortable. Sometimes it doesn't feel good to obviously be squeezed to the point where you have to move out of your current situation and into another one. But if it means that you can eat, if it means that you can transform, and if it means that you can take flight in a different way than you were before, that makes a lot of good sense why you would be doing this. And just keep that in mind while you're considering how uncomfortable it might be to have to change processes. I oftentimes think about being pregnant, and the way that, pregnancy is a beautiful process, but also you're very uncomfortable at the end. You waddle, you're very grouchy. Some people are. You want to eat everything under the sun, but there's not any room for it to go. So the baby's kicking your bladder constantly. So it's not always something pleasant to experience, especially, I don't think childbirth really feels good to anybody, but there are anomalous cases where that is possible. So just keep that in mind in this process and understand that you can go from just being only animalistic in your process to having a camouflage mechanism that will help you with being able to understand the ultimate transition and transformation of yourself or whatever it is that you're going through at this time. So I think I'll leave you there, Aries, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Bye.